Hello everyone, and welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you how to thread your beads so that you can obtain this sort of knobbly bead necklace, and it's really quick and easy as long as you follow the few tips that I have to tell you. And my first tip is to check your hole sizes on your beads, and if you find that the hole isn't quite big enough, then take a darning needle, or if you're lucky enough to have a bead reamer you can use that, and then just make sure that your holes are properly sorted. Sometimes they have a little tiny bit of the nacre, I think it's called, across them, and it needs to be broken. Okay, right, now I'm using this waxed polyester cord. It's lovely because you can flatten it out to thread it into needles, and it goes through your beads quite easily, and it's not too thick, but it's lovely and strong. Right, I'm using white because I want to make a necklace that's quite summery. I think using this effect gives it a much nicer look. Right, now the first thing I did was I measured 4 pieces of this cord, and I measured them each at 1 metre. It doesn't cost much, this cord is quite cheap, so I'd be a bit generous rather than kick yourself afterwards. I chose the acrylic beads because they're fairly light, and I want something that's not going to be too heavy when it's made, and you get about 100 in the packet, which is ample to make this necklace. Right, now then, I also threaded my cord onto needles, so I've got 1 needle on each cord, and the needles I used were these tapestry needles that I happen to have in my stash. They're thin needles, they're size 26 needles, they're thin, but they've got a big hole for you to be able to thread through. And the wonderful thing about this stuff is that when you do this, it gets quite thin and you can thread it through the needle quite easily. If it'll take embroidery thread, it'll take this polyester thread. Right, now we're going to start off by threading 4 threads through 1 pearl. And when that's on there, basically it's not going to move all that much. Then we thread it down so that it sits somewhere around the middle of our cord. We just fold it in half, pull it, and then it'll be right. And I'm going to push this now down to here to join my other beads, because I did start on the halfway mark, and I've now done quite a bit of this side, and we're now going to do the other side. So I got my needles there, and I'm going to take them one at a time and thread a bead onto each needle. Now, I'm not too worried about the colour combination. I want it to be fairly random. I haven't done anything that's going to look, that's going to have some sort of pattern to it, because there aren't enough beads to be able to do that. I did notice there were quite a lot of these lovely turquoisey colour ones. Right, 1, 2, 3, and what are we going to go for next? This one, I think. No, yellow one. 4. Okay. So there are your 4 beads. So all you need to do now is to push them down towards the 1 that you started off with. And if they're a bit twisted, doesn't matter, spend a little bit of time just untwisting them. Can happen, but hey ho, I have plenty of time on my hands at the moment, and I'm sure you do as well. 3, oh sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right. Right, and then push down. Okay, you can push fairly tight. Then we're going to look for a bead which has a fairly large hole. I've used that one a few times, so yay. Now if you can see through it quite easily, which you can with that one if the hole is big enough. Right, then we're going to thread the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 threads went through there. Pull up, and you need to push these back down when you go down. And then pull tight, and your next bobble is in place. Now one thing that you probably notice again is that because of the wax thread and the 4 threads going through one of the pearls, they aren't going to move. Okay, so I'll show you again. We'll choose another 4. Perhaps we better stay away from white this time. Let's go for this colour. Red is quite nice. 1, 2, 3, and oh, we don't want green twice, do we? 3, 4, and again pull down, and there's your next bobble, making sure that it gets pretty close to that one. And then next, untangle your needles, and then we're going to take another one with a large hole. Remember what I said? Now that one, it's got a decent hole, but it's not very big. There we are, that's a lot better. You can see through that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and pull down. Okay, you see what I mean? And then we repeat exactly the same again. So we take our 4 needles and we choose 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here's our 4 again. Now I like these colours because they are such a summery set of colours. And can you see our necklace, even in that couple of minutes, is growing quite nicely. This side obviously has got fewer than this side, so we carry on. And if you have to at some stage, you can take your needles off one side and rethread them onto the other side, but you need your necklace to be pretty consistent, otherwise you're going to be running out of beads on one side and having loads on the other side. So there were 4 loose ones, and now we're all going to go through 1. Let's try a green one this time. Is that big enough? Yeah. In a way, I like one to be not quite big enough, and I can show you what to do. 2. If you have a problem, 3. Right, let's imagine you've got a problem and it's a bit tight. if you do this, you pull the thread down either side and you push through, and it'll allow you to take the bead through. Oops. Any stray beads need to be caught. Okay. Now, if you don't want them to be bobbly, you can always leave them like this, much looser on the thread. Okay, there's another one. See, you're gaining quite a bit every time, and so far these are groups of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we've only used less than half the bead so far. And I'm going to carry on, and then I'll show you what to do when we get to the end to add the clasps. Right, now then I've got to the end of my beads. I've actually used about 96 beads on here, and it's the right length for me. In fact, if you measure it, you'll find that at this point it measures, oops, that's the train going past, it measures 50, just about 50 centimetres. Okay, so the metre that you use to start off with has gone down to 50 centimetres. Another thing I did was I used another necklace that I'd made, and I measured it against that because I know it's a good length for me. You can make them shorter, you can make them longer, it all depends on what you want. Now at this stage you are going to need your toggle clasp and your jump rings, because we're going to attach this, we're going to tie a knot in the end, go through that, go through those, and then our necklace is finished, and I'll show you what to do. Right, now we're almost there. All we need to do now is finish off, and so to finish off I am going to tie a knot, not too tight, towards the end of the beads. Okay, just a simple overhand knot. Put it down there, you want it about there, okay, but not too tight as yet. Then I've got 2 eye pins, which you can also get from end beads, and all I've done is push the eye pin through the knot. You'll see it there. Now I want that to hook onto there, so I don't want it going anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it over and twist it around, and then when I've got it twisted I'm going to take my wire cutters and then just cut it off, and using a pliers, you won't see any of this, it'll all be hidden. I'm just going to tighten it there, okay? Right, now that's not going to come off because it's tied fairly tight. Right, then I've got a couple of these little cones, and I'm going to push that through the cone until it covers that knot. Okay, so it's out of the way. Then, now this is obviously far too long. I just want to make an eye there, so I'm going to hold it about there and cut off. Then, holding it about there and flush with that, I'm going to turn so that we now have, whoops, a not very straight eye. I'll get that straight now. Okay. Then I'm going to take my jump ring and open it up, put the jump ring through there, and also put it through the toggle, and then once that's done, you can see I'm going to close the jump ring. I hold onto it properly. Now these are stainless steel, these jump rings, and they are quite firm to manipulate. But there we are. That's done. Okay, then I will cut this off so that it can't be seen. So I'll show you again the other side. So we have our knot there, and in order to make sure that this goes through, push it through, okay, and then I can pull it tight. So once I push it through, I'm going to pull it tight and do exactly the same as we did last time. Plus we'll take the head off now. Turn it up. And just a little bit of manipulation. These eye pins that I have are a bit tough. You can get softer ones. Actually, I think if I, here's a tip for you, hold it there like that, and that'll make it easier to twist around. There we are, much better. Okay, so make sure that's pulled really nice and tight through here. Okay, and we'll do exactly the same as we did before. Cut this a bit shorter. This in there, flush. Goodness me. That's better. Like we did with the other one. We'll open this up. Hold on to one side, hold on to the other side, through there, through there. And there we are, and put them together. Right, okay, so if you've got some snips, or a scissors, the biggest scissors in the world, actually. These snips are better. And there we have it. Our necklace with quite an attractive toggle on the end as well. I must say, I like that toggle. It's not too big, because sometimes you don't want them too big, they dominate the necklace. So there we are, there's our finished necklace, and all you need to do is wear it on a nice bright sunny day. Thanks everyone. Now don't forget, subscribe and like, that way I'll be doing more videos, and all of the information for these is going to be in the description box, including links to N-beads, where you can get a discount, because there is going to be a discount code there as well. I think it's a 20% discount, so don't forget, if you want that and you want to make this pretty necklace, off you go.